capture, and everything is sorted on both sides, so we don't actually have any distractions at all. So yeah, again, apologies for that. Again, the last time we ran this, we didn't really have many issues or anything, so I decided it wasn't... the investment into an admin was not necessarily a priority for us, and also we didn't know the dates until too long, and we didn't get an admin, basically. So I'm just juggling things as things go a little bit wrong here, but again, that's okay. We can get past it, we can survive, and let's do this now. To the bottom right-hand side, our blue Terran player. This, my friends, is uThermal from Team Liquid. And already losing the first matchup of the day. To the top right, our red Zerg player from Gotteron Esports is Namshar. So again, we're going to be here for the next few hours. We will cast all of these series. In 5 hours' time, I do have to cast the WardiTV Star League Europe group. If I'm a little bit late for that, it's probably okay. If we're massively delayed, we might save one of the matches from today and just cast it tomorrow instead. But for the most part, we're going to be looking to cast all these matches. So even though 2 matches are currently running at the same time, again, the second match is not going to be shown to you guys anywhere. We're not going to be having any spoilers. There's no results that are going to be stated. It's being played. It's off to the side. We'll cast the games later as though it's live, so you guys really, hopefully, shouldn't be able to notice much of a difference. If you guys got any questions or anything about the new match order or anything, I'll try and answer them. But obviously things have just been a little bit hectic. There has been some changes made. But let's jump into Lotus and talk a little bit about Lotus, a map which was, I believe, by the Music 246, the winner of the last map contest with 16-bit. And Lotus is this close by air, so it's from the Challenge 1 section. Challenge 1 of the TLMC was to make maps which were close by air but further away by ground. And we actually saw a pretty cool match on this map yesterday, because we saw Puck. He actually used the oracles against True, and mass oracle isn't something you see all the time, but it worked really well with the kind of close by air kind of way that this map goes, and the abusability of this base here, for example, the gold base which True took. So it was really cool stuff. And I'd like to remind you all as well that this tournament has $3,300 set aside based on the placement of the players. So $3,300 gets given out from 1st through 20th, based on how well, based on where they perform, where they place in the tournament. $700 is set aside for our Best Use of the Maps award. So if you guys see any really cool players which utilize the features of the maps, and which kind of, or strategies kind of tailored towards the maps, let us know, clip them, talk about it. Because $700 up for grabs for the best plays made on the maps using the features of the maps. And we'll see if anyone is going to be able to, make claim to that today. I think one of the best examples of yesterday was Puck. Again, using the oracles on this map was actually a really cool example of just, using the map to its strengths. And then also, we had on the other side of things, maybe not using the map to its strength, but really doing a great job showing us the features, Harston, flying all of his Phoenix into some neutral missile turrets. Now, we haven't seen any of them yet today, so you might be thinking, neutral missile turrets? What are you on about, Wardy? You'll see later on, I promise you. So, yeah, very exciting. But neutral missile turrets in general are going to be a talking point, and Harston yesterday showed us just how they can kill everything. So, yes, a little bit of fun. It's kind of one of those fun rewards, and you guys will be able to vote on it too. So do let us know if you've got any opinions on it as we set up into this TvZ on Lotus, a map where you will generally expand through the top side of the map. I actually feel pushing on this map is going to be kind of crazy for a Terran player. I guess it's not super long. You kind of push up this direction, you can push with a lot of high ground, but actually getting towards the base is like, how on earth do you push this 4th base of a Zerg in the top corner? I guess it's really difficult to. Well, right now we see a lot of Hellions being made. The medevac going to pop out. It looks as though he'll jump on towards the tech lab here in the near future as well, as we have got more Hellions coming in, a Liberator, so it's going to be an Armory too, surely, and then a Hellbat drop combined with the Hellbats pushing the 3rd base too. The Liberator generally kind of takes advantage of the fact that Queens will pull out of position, as this one Marine gets hopped up to the high ground, so you can actually hold the Watchtower here. Just have the vision on the map, vision which is not going to be retaken for Namshar for a little while, because this high ground is blocked off by rocks on either side. These few Hellions coming over to the right here, and they will start to unload some of these Zerglings, looking for a quick surround. Doesn't quite find it just yet. And she just takes a bunch of damage. Doesn't find it simply because uThermal doesn't continue to unload. Obviously, he is there to surround, but uThermal is paying enough attention to not let that be an issue. See a couple of extra refineries on the natural 3rd base already coming down too, and there's the next 4 Hellions. Now again, there's no armory here, so it's not looking all too crazy, as we do have the Hellions diving in towards the main base. A couple of workers going down, and the Hellions just lifting up and backing away to the side. And A few more Hellions going down there. uThermal slipping up for a moment and actually diving in over here. Maybe could have done more damage. Only gets a couple more workers in the end. So not so successful compared to what I think this could have been. He'll gather all of his Hellions up in the same place now, as we're going to be seeing that one Hellion, though, unfortunately cut off by the Zerglings. Namshar not letting that get down to the south. Again, this lair just about halfway done here for the moment, as the Rotoron coming up as well now in this natural mineral line. Couple of armories, so we are going to be seeing Mechie out of uThermal in the end. I guess it explains the continuous Hellion production in towards tanks as well now. So yeah, mech it's going to be as we see the 4th base. You know, it kind of does make sense, because I really feel like how on earth do you push up this map with bio and kind of punish these bases? But with mech, man, it's wonderful, isn't it? You think about it, you can push up all of these little narrow pathways, you don't really have to worry so much about being surrounded or anything. I actually think Mechie is going to be pretty awesome. Now I would like to, as we see Hellions dropping into the main base, and Liberator sieging up here as well if those drones do start to get back to work. Liberator should be dealt with by this Queen, at least pushed away. But yeah, I mean, as 11 drones go down here, Liberator over here getting some damage done too. I want to remind you guys about this bridge. This gold base has this bridge behind it. You can walk across this bridge, but you can't build on this bridge. So that's a very interesting little feature there. It means you can drop it, you can punish a gold base. So that's something to keep in mind. That gold base isn't just free for the taking. You see a couple of queens here. Well, there's a transfuse available. If you've got targeted that queen in the back, he would have got both queen kills here. Just a little bit late to that. The rest of the queens now showing up. Small mistake as some lings running around. Well, I mean, off onto the 3rd base, there's a bunch of marines with this tank or two, so he's actually going to be okay. Just made a few marines early in the game, and, well, this one marine getting sent back to the watchtowers. Well, you stay there, buddy. You stay right there. You need to watch out for anything going on as Namshar starts melee upgrades. Don't think Namshar is really aware that this is mech just yet, otherwise missile upgrades would generally be the preferred route to go down. I'm just going to be seeing the Hydralisk Den is about halfway done here from Namshar as well. 4th base top left hand side with a queen starting to build on it. Is Zergling holding this watchtower too? Yes, there's rocks here, but there's also pathways into this left hand side of the map. Interesting little section of the map here. I'm not sure what this watchtower really allows for. I guess it stops pushes up the left into this 4th base. Huh, I mean, I guess it's pretty cool actually when you think about it. It doesn't immediately kind of sell itself as something that's necessary. This is a bridge, by the way, as well, so you can walk across here. I guess, yeah, it's one of the main ways into the 4th base. Kind of held by this watchtower, so I guess it is pretty important here in the end. Interesting. Well, we're just going to be seeing the Hellions actually getting caught. We're going to move into Hellbats though, and a stacked up set of Lings does not have a great time here. Even kind of just forcing the Banes to be used against this is actually not so bad. The Marine comes off the watchtower to help out again. That one Marine on the high ground just being such a nuisance here so far. At this point I think Namshar has to know about the mech, right? He's seen even more Hellions. At this stage, why would you continue to make even more Hellions? Now let's talk a little bit about why uThermal might be playing mech. Again, if you push up here, you're not going to get fully surrounded through an open area. If you get surrounded, it's through a bunch of choke points, so the tanks will do devastating damage as those units of Namshar push on through, which obviously really opens up the opportunities here in this game. Now, a couple of Hellions morphing into Hellbats. Also just going to be seeing a command center is floating along into position here for uThermal, so that's going to be dropping down in the next few moments. Again, the Lingbane Hider continue to set on up, more queens gathering together as well. And that infestation pit just continuing along. We want to be about halfway done in the next few moments. So infestation pit going to be about halfway done. A couple of missile turrets coming up here from uThermal, make sure he doesn't get harassed from this side. With this infestation pit, obviously the options become aplenty for the Zerg as to how you approach this mech army. Do you go for the hive tech and just Vipers? Do you go into swarm hosts? Right now it looks more like hive tech. There isn't really the gas to build a whole bunch of swarm hosts, a reasonable number that's going to get a lot done. Namshar has tucked himself away into this corner as sensor towers come up here from uThermal, setting up into this mech play. Again, Hydras and Banes from Namshar just going to be setting up, going to start working their way through these rocks. Just going to push their way through this here and again open up the opportunity to kind of come on down this right side through this watchtower, and again just opens up a pathway for counterattacks around. I mean, the Terran player wants to push through here as well though. Blue Flame Hellions holding the center, cleaning up some of the creep spread. We do see a Ling counter going ahead towards the 3rd base, but with a tank or two nearby, Hellions obviously reinforcing nearby as well. That shouldn't really be a major issue, and well, yeah, those Lings are going to try to push on through, but the Hellions show up and they really don't get anything done at all. A few more Bane lanes on the way up. Liberator's in the center of the map too. You have to be careful of these Hydras pushing forwards here. Man, those blue flame Hellions are going to wreck this army if they really get the opportunity to just fire onto them. And oh, Namshar, he's so Hydralisk heavy that these Hellions are just so good against it. It's kind of really insane just how good they are at this stage. Tanks don't even see Jib because uThermal is so confident with his push through up this top side of the map. We are going to be seeing Banes and Hydras continuing to be taken down here at the moment. Hellions continue to fire away. Queen gets taken down as well, and we see more Lings just running on forwards here. Ligre is set up to continue to pick their way through a bunch of these Hydralisks at the moment. Tanks continue to fire away, and uThermal just has so much damage dealt here already, though. I mean, even if this army gets cleaned up right now, the damage is already very, very real. As we do see him on siege, and he cleaned up the rest there, and he is just going to pull back. And we are going to be seeing uThermal. I mean, how far does he really need to pull back, though? Reinforcements are so close anyways. And he can kind of just hold this middle central ground to keep on pushing up towards the top. Yeah, another Cryptium or two just being cleaned out at the moment here. Then a scan coming down, we'll see these Cryptiumers continuing to be picked away at. One more tank from uThermal setting up towards the top side, and we are just going to be seeing this getting ready to go. With a couple of Liberators getting set. Again, I mean, it's this one position now where Namshar is going to have to try and find some sort of a miraculous engagement, but I just don't think it's possible. uThermal really destroys this side. From the other side as well, it's just so choked up that how do you really push on through this? I don't know if you really can. Again, the Hellions get shot off, and well, here we go. The Banes and Hydras that remain, I mean, the Banes get a couple of siege tanks to start things off, but again, if the Hellions still alive, those Hydras alone are not going to find much at all. And unfortunately, Namshar so far not having a great start to this group to generally make the ladder. Not all of them, but a selection of them usually make the ladder as well. And a lot of the new maps that were just announced for the new ladder map pool in the near future, those are also actually made from the TLMC. They actually come from there, and they'll be a, they're from the last TLMC tournament too. These maps, again, probably looking to be used towards the end of the year, towards the start of next year, maybe. Anyways, to the bottom right, top right-hand side of New Repugnancy, we have our blue Terran player. This is uThermal, and he is going up against the red Zerg, bottom left, Namshar from Run Esports. New Repugnancy is a map from the Challenge 1 section? No. Wait, where is this map? There it is. This is a map by Sangloon, who was actually in the chat yesterday hanging out with us. So yeah, New Repugnancy. Interested to see how this one plays out. Again, it comes in from the macro category. So the idea being the 1, 2, 3, 4 bases are very easily taken. The idea of the macro category maps is you're meant to be able to, it encourages a longer game. You're probably expecting turns to open triple CC, the greedier builds. That's what these maps promote, playing longer games, suggesting that they go into late game, making it difficult for games to end via mid-game timings and all the rest of it. So, interested to see how this one plays out, of course, as we get this set up and ready to go. Again, how's everyone doing today? Hope you're doing well now that we're a little bit better underway and a little bit less stressed via issues and so on. We can just chat with you guys a little bit. I just want to say thanks for dropping by already and already tuning in for the first hour or so of the map contest tournament. Again, we've cast all 20 maps of this group today, so this is our 4th of 20 maps, so we've still got 80% of the games to go after this this matchup wraps up here. Do see Reaper from uThermal is heading down towards the lower left-hand side, having a little bit of look around to see what's going on. Hatchery will finish up right now from Namshar, so Queen or 2 actually on the way up at the moment. Queen and Namshar pushing over to the left-hand side as well, and we will just see that this Reaper is being pushed all the way around the place at the moment. So Reaper moving around. It is a pull first though, so already we see Namshar with a good amount of Lings here. It's going to cause a little bit of chaos, and wait, is it not even a pull first? It's just, it's just Lings show up anyways. Okay, well either way, a lot of SCVs pull to deal with this. It isn't. No, it is pull first. No, it isn't. What? Oh my god, I'm so used to this. Was it just hatch pull? Then gas late? It is a late gas. It is a late Ling speed. No, it was pull first. It was pull first, okay. Sorry guys, I'm getting myself all messed up in the head right now. Just been talking a little bit about the map, the maker, some other bits and pieces to get us started, and I got a bit too distracted from the game. This is the map which I really laughed at, because the map maker was like, the map is a representation of the map making scene in StarCraft, which is in ruins, because we've all got all these ruined buildings in the center. And some more luscious green areas still around the edges. I like this one. I like this map a lot. I think it's very... I like the idea of the map, like the way it's designed, the way it's set up with the, you know, the imagery, the aesthetics. I like it. Couple Hellions on the way out here for uThermal. So Hellions continue to come on through here right now, as we do see this Liberator is going to be on the way from the starport. Starport can then lift up and drop down onto the tech lab. Rotoron will come down from Namshar as well here, so setting himself up in towards the Rotoron nice and early this time, whether that means he wants to get aggressive, or whether that means he just wants to play a game where he's going to be safe against Hellion run-bys, etc. Well, that's what we're going to be seeing here very soon. Rotoron is indeed on its way down then, so Rotoron coming through, and we see a couple of Queens just heading over to the main base to help out. A couple of Lings going to start chasing after as well. That Reaper is actually going to get killed off, so not much information gained, but it does distract us. Oh my god, Hellions dive into the Natural, and already 9 kills, and the Hellions are still full of health. That's absolutely terrifying, because it means they're just going to sit here for so long, and even if they're not killing the drones, even just killing the Zerglings, now Namshar has to make more Zerglings to deal with the next Hellions. And obviously that becomes more and more of an issue as pretty much every Ling goes down bar 1. So as Namshar desperately tries to re-drone, it will potentially open up further attacks. There's actually only 2 more Hellions made as uThermal goes into tanks again, looking as though he's once more going to be playing Mechie on new Repugnancy. So changing things up just a little bit. As we will see a couple of Spore Crawlers from Namshar coming down, and we have this Liberator is going to head on over to the left-hand side of the map. So the Liberator heads on over to the left-hand side. The Spore Crawler will be setting up here, and we'll see those drones. May want to do a little bit of pulling away. Transfusions will come down as well. It just adds on those 3 extra drone kills, which, you know, also with a couple of transfuses expended, uThermal finding so much value out of his early units so far. Two more armories on the way up. And we continue to just get set up into this and look to see what the next stage will be for the players. Obviously, uThermal will use this as an opportunity to take the lead and build it into his mech army. The armory is on the way up for those upgrades. The extra factories will come down very soon. Now, Namshar's making roaches, and that's just because he needs something to set up with defensively. I mean, he's made a good amount, but again, he needs to make sure he can deal with this set of Hellbats. He can deal with these Hellions without really too much further issue. Now, the Liberator back into the back of the Natural, that's another annoyance, because again, Namshar finds himself not minding losing another drone, and all of this is costing him so far. Just going to see the Queen continue to work its way through that Liberator, and the Liberator taking a lot of damage is going to fall in the next couple of moments. It's low, and this Queen in the main base will get the job done, but still, it denied so much mining time here off to the side. It really actually does go a long way, and really does work wonders, as we do see now. uThermal will push out to his 3rd base. Again, both of these maps that these guys are playing, I feel, allows for them to go up to 3-4 bases quite easily. You know, Lotus, despite not being a macro-focused map, it is actually pretty macro-friendly. It's just close by air, or closer by air than ground for the main bases. But in the end, that didn't really seem to bother uThermal all too much. Pushed along there nice and easily. And Hydral's Den will finish up in a few moments' time, and we're just going to be seeing the 1-1 missile upgrades continue to come along here. Hydral's Den just continue to come up in a 4, and another tank coming through too. Nice mech play setting up with the missile upgrades and all the rest. It's, yeah, pretty even upgrades actually on either side. Namshar has recovered from those early drone losses. Obviously, uThermal hasn't had much more pressure to apply by the Liberators. I guess we'll see really when the first push comes out of uThermal just how terrifying it is. The one thing to keep in mind at the moment is Namshar is purely on roaches, and that isn't amazing. You know, that's not great tech, you know, that's not a great set of tech. So that's something you've got to remember here, because if Namshar continues to just be on pure roaches, this army of uThermal will be much more difficult to deal with. And I imagine with this style, Namshar might be looking towards maybe using the Swarm Hosts instead this game, rather than... I mean, he's actually going up into the Hydral's Den. I mean, in general, he prepared for mech a lot better this time. Last time he was still playing Lingbane Hydra. This time it is Roach Hydra, so the Hellion count is not going to be anywhere near as important. Not unless the Swarm Hosts do get introduced here. So, a couple of different opportunities, and that's going to be rolled up shortly. Another couple of drones going down elsewhere. I'm not actually sure. There we go. Finally found the Liberator. Kind of hard to see the Liberator in blue on this map when it's way off to the left side. Roaches and Ravagers coming forwards here. We're just going to be seeing the army and Namshar moving around. A few Hydras being added on into play here. 4th Command Center being set up as well. Tanks all set up on the high ground. Liberators sieged up too. A few Marines are 4 set up over here as well. Another Command Center will build. So going up into a 5th base, and these Hellions again just moving around. I mean, we haven't seen again a lot from uThermal for a little while. And if he tries to run by at the moment, one thing I have to say is that the creep tumors of Namshar are all over the map. I mean, he's got creep to the top, he's got creep to the south. He's actually got creep absolutely just everywhere. Halfway through this central area, I guess, is quite easy to creep up. It's just like this big low ground with a few kind of bits and pieces which get in the way, but you can just creep over them. So that isn't really a major issue here. As we do see the Queen pushing forwards, is going to be found by this group of Hellions. So Hellions getting that Queen low, doesn't quite grab the kill just yet. Namshar with more roaches heading around the right-hand side of the map. And as we do see the infestation pit is about to finish up here from Namshar on the main base as well. Another scan and another couple of creep consumers will once again be in some trouble. +1 vehicle play, +2 vehicle plane, and +2 vehicle attack on the way, by the way. And now into Infernal Pre-Igniter. Again, with the much later Hydras, the blue flame is a lot less important than it was in the last game, when it was really just carrying the entire engagements for uThermal a bunch of the times. And we do see Hydras on the way up in the main, and we do just have a Hydras coming in, pushing in towards the upper side of the map. Hellions over here again with a couple of creep tumors as Roaches will intercept them, though the Ravagers as well is going to be able to work his way through this, and a few of these Hellions are going to end up being pushed away. Namshar set up to run by, set up to counterattack as soon as uThermal moves out, and as uThermal just seems to be so happy though, set up on these 4 bases again. A map from the macro category, and we're getting it seen into the macro kind of section. As we're going to be seeing tanks and sieging, Hellions moving forwards, and this army of uThermal is going to be setting on up. Again, Namshar just with a group of Roaches down to the bottom right-hand side here. Roaches, Ravagers, Hydras, all of these units here from Namshar trying to figure out what's going on as you see these units trying to press on forwards. A few corrosive biles coming down here now, as we will see more Roaches up the right-hand side. And again, it's this counterattack we've been watching for a little while being established, is now finally here and ready to deal some damage. There's a couple of Liberators as uThermal will decide to pull back to deal with this. It's a lot of Roaches, he's going to take a lot of eco damage to this. 2 Liberators still just sat, not really being used. He actually sends a bit more of his army out into the middle, so he is going to be able to hold the center. I mean, he didn't need his entire army to deal with these Roaches, right? So, starting to deal with that now. Again, the Liberators starting to come into play too, and these Roaches will start to be cleaned up pretty quick. And surprisingly, uThermal only loses, I mean, so far 6 workers, and now that's 9, so it is a little bit higher now. I mean, originally this was only 4 workers killed, and I was like, well, that's really not that many, is it? If you'd only lost 4 workers, that would have been somewhat incredible, I would have said. Based on the situation, as we do see Namshar with this one Roach running around the upper left-hand side, a couple of missile turrets set up here and there. And a scan coming down as we'll see tanks sieged up in the center, still trying to fight. There's another wave of tanks behind us as well, so he should be able to hold this off. These tanks on siege, and a couple of them. Liberator sieging up now as well. He's just setting up another layer of tanks once more, so again, making it so Namshar has to attack layer after layer, keep pushing forwards into these difficult positions. Corrosive Biles actually landing nicely to take down one of the tanks there, but the other one survives, the Liberator surviving too. uThermal still traded well with all of this. Again, when you have to push through not just the first wave of tank shots, but then the second wave of tank shots, it gets pretty dangerous. As you see uThermal, not sure if that scan was just friendly fire as he takes down creep tumor. His own tank got blown up. A little bit unfortunate here as uThermal continues to pressure on forwards. Ravagers getting picked off once again. 5th base of uThermal is up behind this. His economy is looking outstanding at the moment. Really, nothing to slow him down in that regard. His economy just looking great as we see another Liberator sieging. More Hellions showing up too, morphing into Hellbats. So setting themselves up to fight this. Vipers will come in for an abduct on a 4 and on a siege tank and on a Liberator. A lot of things going down at the moment here. Nice Blinding Cloud. Getting rid of a bunch of these tanks from the engagement. Certainly uThermal will not be able to fight this. He doesn't have Vikings up, or Cyclones, or any sort of anti-air. You see him adding them on now. But without those, obviously the Vipers kind of reign supreme. uThermal will have to sit at least on his siege tank and planetary fortress line if he wants to defend this. But again, we're getting a great example of how this map is meant to be played. 5 bases easily. 6 base is honestly not easy, I would say, because it's definitely out of position. But it's very different. It's still out of the way. It's a macro-focused map, and you can see that come into fruition here in this second game of the day between uThermal and Namshar. Again, if you're wondering what's coming up, our match order in terms of what we're casting is Soul versus Lambo, Soul versus Namshar. Then we do Ziggy versus Lambo, Lambo versus uThermal, uThermal versus Soul, followed by Soul versus Ziggy, Namshar versus Ziggy, and uThermal versus Ziggy. That's our setup here as we see these Liberators sieging. We're going to see some of these Hydras being picked away at, more damage being dealt, as we'll see Namshar going to come around the right-hand side. Again, just in general, having a better setup against the mech that run by initially. You know, honestly, all of this I think was going okay stuff for uThermal, but he wasn't ready for that first wave of Vipers, and that definitely slowed him down here as Tank's now trying to set on up, and Corrosive Bowels grabbing 2 Liberators at the same time there. Namshar pulling away from the right-hand side. 5 SCVs killed. I mean, Namshar would love to get a game on his victory screen here today because he only has 0 points so far after 3 maps played. 1 point would be a good start to kind of move forwards in the group with. As you just see those Vipers sat overhead. Spire on the way up here now from Namshar as well on the natural expansion. +1 melee upgrade on the evolution chamber. Ship weapons starting up on the armory as well. So ship weapons coming through. We do see the base on the lower right side is being rebuilt now. So that 5th base on the way back up. Again, yes, it's an easily taken 5th, but if the army does get around here, then you start to be in position to deal with it. Obviously, uThermal just was not in position. And now we do see Namshar coming back around the top side and just starting to pick uThermal apart from side to side. uThermal pretty quick to respond though, showing us that this map is got that sort of potency. We do see a couple of Viking shots going off on Vipers. A lock-on from a Cyclone helps him to kill one of them. uThermal supply is right back up there though compared to what it was before. Namshar not with too much money in the bank, so he still has to be somewhat cautious at the moment. Just moving around in the middle. A few SCVs going down. Greater Spire is halfway done here too. A couple more Hydras just being built. Again, +1 ship weapons about to finish up now. Greater Spire on the way up to about 75% of the way done. Another Spire being thrown down in the natural as well. Through the south side of the map, Hydras, Ravagers, and Roaches are moving along here at the moment. So these units setting up and getting ready to run in towards this planetary fortress, which is currently morphing in. A Sensitar starts to build as well. Vikings starting to deal a little bit of damage. That Viper taking some hits. Does get pushed away just slightly now. 7 Corruptors on the way up. 7 Corruptors coming through as we see Hellions attempting to run by. They get a couple of drones, but not much more. uThermal, it's actually able to rebuild here, and having rebuilt now. Back on the 5 bases. Again, he's stabilizing. Next little bit of minerals probably goes in towards another CC, so you can once again think about a 6th base to the bottom right-hand side of the map. uThermal's back in this game, but obviously Namshar, he's teching up himself. He's going to have Broodlords. He's going to have a better army than what he's had before available to him here very shortly. As uThermal is maxed out, does he just push pre-Broodlords? Well, I don't think that's going to happen. Broodlords already starting to morph in, so that is going to be a thing. A couple of you asking in the chat about the Cyclones late game. They can lock onto Vipers. We've seen it a couple of times now already at this point, but locking onto Vipers, it means you can kill them off from a distance still. As we'll see this entire mech army. And you know what? I mean, these Cyclones are just going to actually do so much damage on the ground as well. Parasitic Bomb goes off. And I mean, the Cyclones are going to be able to lock on. Look at that. They just destroy these Vipers in the sky. Well, you know what? If they lock onto those Broodlords, I'm a little bit worried about the Broodlords as well. uThermal will just with a death push through the center of the map. More Roaches and Hydras in production now, but man, uThermal is just all the way up here already. Here come the Broodlords. I feel like he really needs to be able to lock onto these Broods, but then again, he has the Vikings as well, and without the Vipers here, the Vikings can just stack up and do what they want. While tanks continue to siege, and uThermal is on Namshar's side of the map in threatening positions. Broodlords are keeping themselves safe, though. I like the positioning of these Broodlords. They're being kept in locations where they're not going to be able to be locked onto by the Cyclones, and actually, this was some heavy losses for uThermal. He loses the Vikings, he loses the army. He lost the Vikings to the Hydras on the top